as consultants and advisors, not salesy people. You have to know how to articulate the market, and you have to have your evidence so that we separate ourselves. This is not all about, hi, how are you? Hugs, kisses, let's go look at houses. Great. But that's all fun. And that's easy to do when everything's great. There are going to be people that are struggling. You are going to be that person. So go take them by the hand and make them understand what's happening to the present market, why they have to make a decision now, and how you can make it a worry-free experience. That means you're empathetic. That means you understand it. So you've got to look the part. There's no longer this salesy sales agent that's going to really make it through all of this. It's not going to happen. I guarantee it. I've been at this thing for 36 years. The real estate market of the past is no longer going to be able to survive. It's going to take someone with high level of skill. So when you hear this, and then we're going to make a list of items that actually cause things to change economically in our markets, I'll know how to get you from where you are and grow your production, no problem. I'm not an economist, but I know enough to know there's some weird stuff going on, and we cannot sustain that for another year, which means market prices are going to change. So we got to get our people to make decisions. Open your minds like a parachute. I heard that. Okay. Open your minds like a parachute. So we're going to have to change our approach, our expectations. So let's think of a couple of things that I found. I had a great conversation with Tim yesterday. And so there's 6 things that I came up with that we can relate to regarding the market, that we could explain to the consumer and why it's important to buy now or sell now. So let's look at number 1. Number 1 is inflation is the highest it's been in 31 years, because we're still selling them on they're not going to understand all of this, but we need to let them understand what they understand and why this is dangerous. We can't sustain this type of economic situation. And so everything, all these points need to have evidence to back it up. Articles, find them. And I think we're going to create a library of this. I can start posting them out. I'll be working on this on the weekend. I put a couple things inside the network. So inflation is the highest it's been in 31 years. Number 2, there is a possibility, and you saw this in the rate hike, there's a possibility of 4 rate increases next year. And you know, it's so funny. They're setting us up. They're setting us up. You know, for many, many years, if you've been in the business for, and Anna, maybe you can back me up on this, or somebody that's been in the business for over 15, 20 years, for some reason, there was an excuse why rates went up in the spring. Why did rates always kind of creep up in the spring? Anybody want?
Estate season begins.
Why?
That's when the real estate season begins or kicks off.
That's right. But they make up another excuse. You know, we had to raise the rates because no, they're raising rates because more people are going to start to shop. And so they raise it up a point, half a point. They're, you know, in the old days, it was a discount points, you know, it was, I don't know, 8%, 1 + 1. So you had an origination fee, which was a commission, and you had a discount point was another commission. And then there's a back end money that people are making when they service a loan. There's a lot of money to be made on a mortgage. So we need to be prepared, but there's going to be rate increases in 2022. We've got to understand that. Number 3, I wrote down, and this is a mindset. We're still in a COVID environment. Good, bad, or indifferent, whatever you believe, we're still a little bit of that. So there's still this uncertainty. Vaccines, no vaccines. We're still in this awkward COVID environment. There's a lot of battling going on right now. That just creates confusion to the consumer. Number 4, I wrote down, we know this from the statistic that Realtor.com came out, and it's the little graph I sent out in the network, was that appreciation is declining overall in the United States. Okay. So when you're talking to your people, and right now, Mr. Seller or Mr. Buyer, there's 6 things that really concern us in real estate. And we were just doing some research. Anytime you mention the word research, or we were looking at some statistics, it raises the level of your authority and how you're talking. Makes you look really smart. And that's what we want to do. We want to raise our authority. So we're looking at 6 things. And let me share those with you, Mr. Seller. We found out that inflation hasn't been this high in 31 years. That's really critical in your buying power and what could happen to the market next year. There's a possible 4 increases that will take place with interest rates, right? So if you are not timing it right, it could affect the buyers, and then you'll lose the audience that we need to get your house sold. Number 3, there's still a COVID environment. There's still an uncertainty there that's kind of making things much difficult for buyers and sellers. And then we have appreciation. We have seen in the last statistics that came out that there is a decline in appreciation taking a hold nationally. Okay, so we're talking out of role play. Number 5.